How do you rank what's on his list?
Oh, wow.
And that's what matters because he got elected. Everybody else talks. Did you win an election? Right. Did you become a president? Mm-hmm. Did you get shot in the ear? Did you get all that stuff that happened? Did you go through all the criticism? Did they go through your wife's drawer? Did they go through all that? No, they did it to him. So guess what happens? And that's after winning, losing, and a lot of stuff is coming with 2020 elections. That's not going to be pretty for all those guys that were playing games on the inside. And he doesn't give up and comes back and wins again. Yeah, guess what? That's how elections work. You know, when Obama at the, what was it, Tom, when he was giving one of the speeches at the House and somebody booed him and he looks at him and says, elections have consequences.
Boom.
Yeah. I'm the one that won. Guess what? Obama was right.
Yes,
and guess what? Trump is right. You know, so we'll see what he wants to do. But I will tell you, the concept of affordability is not going to be going away. Let me get into the next story here. Of what happened with the whole Pope Leo. So we know what happened with the comments towards Pope Leo said something about war. He's not supportive of war and what's going on. Trump responded back and said things about him. And then another reporter asked him a question and said, hey, what do you think about the 4 people that are being executed in Iran, with one of them being a woman? Trump responds back and says, why don't you ask the Pope? The Pope then responds and says the following. He says, Pope Leo says his tyrant's remarks were not aimed at Trump. Okay, is that a clip that you have, Rob?
Yes.
Is this it?
Yes, sir.
Go for it.
The world is being ravaged by a handful of tyrants, yet is held together by a multitude of supportive brothers and sisters. They are the descendants of Abraham, as numerous as the stars in the sky and the grains of sand on the seashore. Let us look into each other's eyes. We are this immense people. Peace is not something we must invent. It is something we must embrace by accepting our neighbor as our brother and as our sister.
Rob, nothing in that video was about Trump. So what do you want me to do with that video?
Well, that's so the very first portion, that's the comment that they're saying he was making about President Trump. Pope Leo came out and said he was not calling President
He said it
Trump.
in this video. Maybe
Yes.
I just wasn't listening.
It's the first thing. Beginning.
I'm sorry, Rob. My mistake. Can you put that up again?
Sure.
The world is being ravaged by a handful of tyrants, yet is held together by a multitude of supportive brothers and sisters.
Did he say Trump?
No, this is what they used to say that he was talking about Trump.
They're insinuating.
But is there a clip of him not saying anything about Trump? Because I thought he said that in the first.
No, he didn't.
He
So,
never mentioned.
so let me know. So Pope's Saturday remarks made this week in which the world is being ravaged by a handful of tyrants. The Pope's Angulo Tende was prepared for 2-week comments, as not accurate on all aspects, and his speech was prepared 2 weeks ago, well before the president ever commented on myself of the speech that I am promoting. He told Reuters, the news outlet cited that the Pope's saying comments were not aimed at Trump. As it happens, it was looked as if I was trying to debate the president, which is not in my interest at all. So good for him for saying that. And then Pope Leo comes out and expands call for peace to perceived war of words with Trump, which is good that he's taking that direction. Rob, is this another clip by him?
This is.
Go for it. Go for it.
Certain narrative that has not been accurate in all of its aspects, but because of the political situation created when on the first day of the trip, the President of the United States made some comments about myself. Much of what has been written since then has been more commentary on commentary, trying to interpret what has been said. Just one little example, the talk that I gave at the prayer meeting for peace.
Oh, this is the clip.
A couple days ago. It was prepared 2 weeks ago, well before the president ever commented on myself and on the message of peace that I am promoting. And yet, as it happens, it was looked at as if I was trying to debate, again, the president, which is not in my interest at all.
By the way, I don't know about you. I love the way he communicates both messages. I absolutely love the way and FYI, just so people know my position because of my response to Tucker Carlson when he said he made the comparisons of, now they're comparing Catholics to Nazis or whatever that was said. I expect the Pope to not want war.
Of course.
I expect the Pope to not want war. So to me, a part of it is like, he's supposed to not want it.
Not controversial.
But by the way, the way he just communicated, you're seeing, I don't know the guy. When he first was elected, because he's a Chicago pro-Republican, and I know Charlie came out and says, look, I don't know where the verdict is still out. We're not going to know whether this guy's a globalist or not. The verdict's out, and, everybody was saying, well, let's wait to see what's going to happen with him. I like the way he communicated. I like the way the message he just gave. This is him representing 1.4 billion people, and my expectation of somebody in a figurehead like this is to say peace. You're supposed to say that. It's totally fine, and try to do your best to stay out of politics. Didn't the previous pope do some events with transgenders, or I don't know what he was doing?
He bust them there, and it was pretty bad.
Yeah, and then Trump stands firm on his remark against the Pope. He hasn't changed his position. Rob, I don't know if you have a clip on that. Well, that's on the 16th, and Pope's comments were on the 18th, so it's kind of not fair to play that clip because it was a couple days prior to that. I will tell you this. The president is planning to join America Reads the Bible initiative amid spat with Pope Leo, and I don't know when this is going to be happening, so let me see where this is. President Trump on Friday announced that he will attend a marathon reading of the Bible amid his feud. The group Christians Engaged listed Trump one of the many participants in the America Reads the Bible event, which starts Saturday evening and runs for a week. The president sent a statement that he applauds every citizen, including every citizen participating in the America Reads the Bible initiative. Together, we will honor Holy Scripture, renew our faith, usher in historic resurgence of religion on American shores, and rededicate the United States as one nation under God. Beautiful. Elon, your thoughts on this?
Well, I just think it's a reminder of the fundamental difference between moral authority and political authority. I'm really happy that the Pope came out and made that distinction super clear. And I agree with you entirely. I think it's nuts that people think the Pope calling for peace, which is the actual
Blessed are the peacemakers.
Message of Christ. What is the controversy there? But that's a perfect example of the media trying to create division, as always. So I like how it ended up, though. I like that we got to have that reminder.
So, number one, I respect the Pope, specifically this Pope. By the way, did you catch he's got a kind of a Chicago accent?
I love it.
The Pope from Chicago.
I love it.
Bear stuff, Pope, the Pope. He's doing great. Good for him. So here's what we also know. Stay in your lane. Trump has an agenda. And what we know about Trump, if you get in his way, you could be whoever coming down. You could be the Pope. You could be the Ayatollah. You could be now rabbi, priest. Don't get in Trump's way. Like you said earlier, you wrestle with a pig. You're both going to get muddy, but the pig loves it. Just don't do it. I respect the Pope.
But all he said was, if we're going to talk peacemakers, and he got attacked.
Yeah,
that's not cool.
It was the media that
it was the media that twisted.
Yeah.
So speaking of the media twisting it, if you're going to talk about tyrants, name the tyrants then. Go ahead. If you're going to get involved in politics, whether you're the Pope or not, go ahead and say the tyrant's name. Trump's not on that list, guys.
But Adam,
no
can I ask you a
kings.
question?
Xi, Putin, Kim Jong-un, whatever Ayatollah's alive at this point. Maduro is in jail right now. Lukashenko in Belarus. There's a whole list of tyrants before Trump's name should even be mentioned. Last but not least, read the Bible. That's great. Good for Trump. I know you don't think Trump's a Christian or whatever.
He isn't.
Trump represents America. Trump's trying to put God first in America. Here's the last point. You want the left dictating biblical prophecy? You want the far left talking about God? They don't believe in God. Communists literally ban God. So whatever you think of Trump, at least he's serving the Lord above. I'll leave it at that.
Say, Elon?
No, I was going to say that. Don't you still think it's? I mean, we know how Trump talks. We know how Trump is, but it's not a good look to go. You're saying Trump will go after anyone who goes after him.
Sure.
The Pope is probably one of the few people you should give a little bit of.
I hear you.
A little bit of
Rob,
lenience.
can you play this clip, Rob? Rob, can you play this clip? Enton did a poll on Pope Leo and Trump to show popularity, to show the influence the Pope has. This is important to know numbers like this and pay attention to it. Go ahead, Rob.
The American public at large, John, look at this. It is a blow on the net popularity rating. Pope Leo XIV at plus 34. Look at where Donald Trump is at minus 12. It's not even close. It's a nearly 50-point blowout amongst the American public at large. Pope Leo XIV absolutely crushing President Trump when it comes to how popular they are, at least as of the last month. And I will note that Pope Leo was the most popular person tested by ABC News.
When you see this,
I believe the president is making
there's a part of this poll when you look at it. It's mathematically impossible for the president's popularity to be higher than Pope Leo's.
Yeah.
Mathematically impossible. So I know this looks like,
who are they
oh my
polling?
God, maybe the Pope should run for office.
Right.
No, it's a different story when they're polling this. This was the list they made that who was the least disliked person? What was it? Was it, you guys remember, it was Elon Musk and Bibi or something like that? And it was UPS. Some weird names were on that list. I don't know what was on that list.
UPS.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Tom, your thoughts on this?
So I was really irritated for most of this thing because, number one, there's nothing to be gained to getting in a spat with the Pope.
No.
That's the one guy. There's just really nothing to be gained. You got to back off. And I think, and this may not be popular, I think Trump got baited because I think it was the news media that was trying to create the controversy. Because remember, anything that can make Trump look bad, they want to pin on him. Anything that they can create another group being upset, they want to create it. They want to foment. So it's basically the entire left wing. I'm gonna stop calling them the MSM. I'm gonna start calling them the Sololinsky gang, right? Because they're just using the same techniques, of the underground, right, to go and do this. And so it's like, hey, Mr. President, don't bite on these things, on this stuff like this. I think that's what happened, and it's annoying.
Well, PBD, can you help me be positive for a second? This is the first American Pope. We have a pro-America president. What can the Pope and Trump do to help unify America? Because the only way America's ever going to lose anything is if you manufacture the fracture.
Yeah.
If there's a fracture inside here. Have they met yet in person? What can they do to bring America together? What can the Pope and Trump do to work together to help America win more? Have you thought about that?
Listen, I don't know, but let me ask you a question. If you were a betting person, would you bet that the President Trump and the Pope are going to do something together before the end of the year?
They have to, yes.
What do you think?
I think this actually might turn out to be a good
I
podcast.
know.
Yes,
I know.
that's what I'm saying.
It might return.
I actually think they're going to do something together because I think the Pope will. The Pope will do something together. Anything that brings more attention to the Christianity and the faith, you ought to do it. So I think that's going to be taking place. I was never a fan of the picture that was posted. I've never been a fan of stuff like that, ever. Never, ever play God.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is if you ever read the book 40 Laws of Power, you know what law number 1 is?
Never outshine the master.
Never, ever, ever. And not only that's the book, and we're Assyrians, we learned the hard way. We're trying to, Vinny and I have been trying for 47 years to go back and do vacation at Assyria, the country. We're having a hard time finding the place.
Yeah.
It's not on the map, and there's a reason for that. Let me
Assyria.
continue.
Assyria.
Yes. Assyria. Let me get to the next story here. Next story I want to get to is maybe a quick story. Rob, can you pull up this poll? You just had it. You had one of the tweets of showing which type of kids, do you know which one I'm talking about, Rob? Which political party deals with the most amount of mental illness? Have you seen this?
No.
Have you seen this, Vinny?
No. We can
Check this out.
imagine.
So make it bigger, Rob, so we can kind of show it to the audience. Watch this.
Oh, my God.
Percentage of younger people diagnosed with a mental health problem, whites under the age of 40.
What?
Look at that. 56% of kids under the age of whites under 40 who are strong Democrats. Wow. 41% of those that are weak Democrats. 35% of independents, 30% of weak Republicans, 50% of strong.
We found the cure. We found the cure to mental health.
It is.
Tom, how do you process this information, Tom, when you read
I'd like to
this?
thank you all for being here today. We'll be back Wednesday. I'd like to end on a high note. How do I process this?
How do you process
Look,
it?
I'll tell you how I process this. I would process on a processing line and on a logic line. So logic and emotion. You could draw the line of logic from strong Republican to emotion on strong Democrat. You could draw it that way. And I also, believe you could do processing, willingness to process. So close-minded. I think if you do close-minded versus open-minded, you know what I mean, Pat? Like willing to debate, willing to process. Hey, look, I'm open enough-minded to listen to your point. You may not move me, but I'm willing to listen to your point. Who says that? Strong Republican or strong Democrat? No, the strong Republican says that. Willing to debate, willing to be open. Strong Democrat says, no, you're wrong. You should be canceled and shut down. So this lines up with me, and I think it lines right up with a logic and emotion line, and it lines right up with a willing to process, not willing to process. And guess what? Unwilling to process, closed-minded, and unwilling to debate, and you end up in your own anger. Guess what you have? You have these screaming middle-aged white women that we've seen in videos going, what is her problem and what is going on?
I think there's a major correlation here between what people use as their identity. If you looked at strong Democrats, they identify with material things like gender identity, their sexual orientation, all these things. You go down the list, you get to strong Republican, and their identity comes from faith. I've suffered from mental health issues. I've suffered from all types of stuff, and faith was the one thing that saved me. And I guarantee you, if you looked at that 15% strong Republican, the reason that it's so low comparatively is because they have something to root them.
What a great point. What a great point, Vinny.
I agree 100%. And if you think about it, you don't get to 56% by accident. When you raise a generation inside of a system that leads one way from top to bottom, think about it. And you mentioned this multiple times, Pat. The schools, the colleges, the professors, they're all pushing that woke agenda nonsense. It's hate, it's anger, from the media, from all the fears, from all the crisis, from social media, from the gender stuff and everything. The fake news and all that stuff, that's them. When I was on Piers, Pat, I did that thing about before and after these people that have Trump derangement syndrome, and I tell people they just had everybody, and Trump, love him or hate him, however you feel, you have to admit what he did to the system made people go absolutely nuts. And I connected a guy yesterday, and I told him there should be a class action lawsuit, and I'm not being funny at all, for what they did to people's brains, because, bro, TDS is an actual thing where psychiatry, I mean,
I agree with you, Vinny.
Like, shouldn't they all get together and say, hey, you lied? And mind you, if Trump is out there, you think God came out of it, right? If Trump is out there and he's made, I think 60 or 70 million suing whoever he sued, all these major networks, because they lied. If you've ruined somebody's brain where they turned into a Carville and they're like, everybody that, if that has happened to you, I think you should get a class action, get a lawyer and go and sue them. So that goes to the diagnosed with mental health problems. That's what it is. You don't talk to anybody. You're in your bubble. You know, your parents are just jamming drugs down your throat. You don't have any faith in you. You believe
Ritalin.
Yeah, what is a woman? If that's where you're at, this chart is, by the way, this is by the data is by the U.S. General Social Survey. This isn't some rinky-dink survey. This is legitimate, and I think it's just a testament, an example of what these people are just brainwashing you with when you're falling for it.
I did a study on mass psychosis. I don't know if you guys know the Ash experiment and Milgram experiment back in the day. Two very unique experiments to see how people could harm people in their own circle. One of them was the one where they literally put people into shock, people and authorities telling them to. The other one was about conformity, the Ash conformity experiment, where you had lines and people would literally deny what they saw with their own eyes because everyone else said these lines don't line up.
Yeah.
We're seeing that today with the Democratic Party. I did a social experiment where I had people come in. They thought they were on a TV show. Mm-hmm. They thought that they were there to cancel somebody. They had the choice. There were two other judges. There were social media influencers. Everyone was an actor except for them. They thought it was live TV. And we had a guy in the other room who had apparently wrote a book about affirmative action and was a lawyer. And because of the social pressure, every single person voted to